use Terrans with an N, T-E-R-R-A-N. The Terrans, as they might colloquially come to be known, and the Cosmists. The Terrans. The Terrans are the terrestrialists, that is, those people who believe that human beings must remain the dominant species on Earth. All ethical systems to the Terrans presuppose that human beings are the end and not the means by which actions are judged. The Terrans will fear a possible takeover by the Artilects, or those human beings willing to be modified to become Artilects themselves. When Artilect technology becomes capable of making generally intelligent machines, the Artilect debate will reach its climax and passions will be high. At this point, it's time to introduce the second ideological camp. The Cosmists. The Cosmists have the opposite belief. The Cosmists will want to give the Artilects the chance to develop themselves, escape their provincial terrestrial origins and venture into the cosmos, understand nature's mysteries, and perhaps search for other life forms in the universe. At this point, possessing a good science fiction background is an advantage because nothing else will help. The nature of the subject we are talking about demands it. The Cosmists will invent a new religion and will defend it with passion because they will feel they are responsible for the next stage of the great upward movement toward what? Now there's an insert here, sort of like a header. These appear throughout the article, so I should interrupt this flow and say what it is, otherwise it's awkward to come back to it. It's a quote from what I've already read. We could never be sure that the Artilects would treat human beings with the same level of respect as we would like. Maybe that's a future quote. Okay, back to the article. Because they will feel they are responsible for the next stage in the great upward movement toward what? Question mark. Our scientific knowledge tells us that is virtually certain that advanced forms of life exist out there somewhere. With our puny human brains and our frail human bodies, we are not equipped to venture forth from the cradle we call Earth, but a suitably adapted Artilect could. The dominant source of global political conflict in the 21st century will be between these two groups. Global communications in 20 to 40 years will be such that every person will be able to communicate easily with everyone else, at least in the rich countries. Ta-da! Man, did I call that one. That's the cell phone. English will have become the world language, and by then nearly everyone will speak it. So-so. Robots will have become so productive that material wealth will no longer be an issue. In 20 years, 40 years? Well, certainly a lot of rich countries. Thus, the source of bitter ideological conflict in the 19th and 20th centuries, namely between capitalism and communism, will fade away. Who cares who owns capital when there's a surfeit of material goods? I see the Cosmists forming their own ideological, geographic nation-state, analogous to the way the Zionists formed the State of Israel, as a reaction to the social pressure against them from the Terran majority in most, if not all, nations. The Terrans will be frightened that the experiments of the Cosmists will not only destroy the Cosmists, but the Terrans as well. The Terrans will not permit the Cosmists to allow the Artilects to evolve to an advanced state. In the extreme case, the Terrans will be prepared to exterminate the Cosmists for the sake of the survival of the Terrans, as the human species. The Cosmists, however, fully aware of the fears of the Terrans, will pursue an age-old policy, mutual deterrence, so that the 21st century, politically speaking, will be similar to the 20th century, only the weapon systems will be all the more horrific and artilectual. However, a way out of this dilemma might be found. With 21st century technology, mass migration of the people might be possible, so the Cosmists might be rocketed to some outer planet to do what they want with themselves. Meanwhile, the Terrans will arm themselves to the hilt and destroy any foreign body approaching the Earth, being all too conscious of their greatest weakness, namely their human intellects. Scenario 2. The second scenario is probably more popular in science fiction. It's simply that the Artilects will take over. Events might evolve too quickly for human beings to remain in control. If the Artilects do take over, it will be difficult to predict what the outcome will be. Perhaps they will treat us as pets and ignore us as we ignore most creatures, but we could never be sure this case would be true. Perhaps the Artilects would quickly decide that their destiny was in space. However, the Earth is a warm, cosy place in a bleak, black universe. Who knows? Perhaps they will decide that human beings are pests and exterminate us before we decide to exterminate them. World Conference. I'd like to close this article by pleading for a world conference on this critical topic. I'd like to see a group of top people from various fields bring their prestige and intellectual weight to the most important subject. Perhaps the question of the rise of the 21st century Artilect concerns everyone. A wide range of disciplines should be represented at such a conference. All perspectives should be given an airing. Of course, because the aim of the conference is to bring the Artilect debate to public consciousness, the media should be present in force. It's likely that the theme of the conference will ensure a massive interest on the part of the media. It's difficult to think of a stronger drawing card. Why is it important to hold such a conference? My hope is that humanity can avoid what happened with the nuclear physicists in the 1930s, when they began to realize a nuclear chain reaction might be possible, with the subsequent release of enormous energy. We now live in a world threatened by a nuclear holocaust in which everyone would die. If the nuclear physicists at the time had thought hard about the consequences of their work, perhaps they might not have continued their research, feeling that its consequences were too horrible. And then references. Go to this flyer's text, to the text link, and a bit of bio, which is obviously highly dated. It might be fun, just because I haven't read this for years. Former Australian Hugo de GARIS is head of the Centre d'Analyse des Données et Processus Stochastiques, Centre of Data Analysis and Stochastic Processes, CADEPS, C-A-D-E-P-S, Artificial Intelligence Research Unit at the Université Libre de Bruxelles, the Free University of Brussels, Avenue FD Roosevelt 50, CP, that's code postal 194/7, B1050, Brussels, Belgium. That's where I was. In '89 I was doing a PhD in Free University of Brussels, the French-speaking. He's currently working with Professor Michalski, who's on machine learning at George Mason University, Virginia, until October 1989. His principal research interests are symbolic machine learning, data analysis, genetic algorithms, and neural networks. I feel sad. Prof Michalski, Richard, his first name. He was my best friend. We were really good friends until he died. He died 2008, bit before 2010, of prostate cancer. So I lost a very good friend. So my best friend now is Ben Gersel, who is 20 years younger. And who knows, I may even outlive him. I think I have longevity genes because do I look 70? Seriously, do I look 70? I mean, look at my hair, it's not even grey. I think I have longevity genes. My father is 98 this year, in good health. He will probably get 100. If we go back in the family, his grandfather lived, I think, 97 or 99, and his great-grandfather lived 99 or 97. So it definitely runs in the family, and I think I've got those longevity genes. So I plan for my future work as a globicator, global educator, to teach PhD level pure math and math physics to the planet by making about 120 odd master's and PhD level courses in these topics, and YouTube them as videos, and e-libraries, electronic libraries. That's very ambitious work and will take me 2-3 decades to do. So I plan to live to 100, I hope. Okay, that's it. Ciao. So Prof. Dr. Hugo de Garis, email profhugodegaris@yahoo.com, website profhugodegaris.wordpress.com, and YouTube channel name Hugo de Garis.